fragile heart that would not rest, but something deep poured me through. A voice that said, your time's not due. I walk through the valley where the silence waits, where the dawn at the edge of fate, but mercy spoke when hope had left, and somehow I cheated death. I heard the clock, but it skipped my name. Through fire and fear I still remain. When the night thought it had my breath, I rose again. I cheated death. Destiny had one more page, a second chance beyond the page, beyond the page. I walk through the valley where the sights, where the door was closing at the edge of fate, but mercy spoke when hope had left, and somehow
Wow, it's such a beautiful sunny afternoon right here in West Africa, Nigeria, in the city of Lagos. And the sound of that melody inspires you, inspires me, and lets us know that the mercies of God, the goodness of God, makes it possible for people to bounce back difficult storms of life. There are people that have come face to face with death. Yes, you heard me right. Face to face with death. And death as a common fear that all mortals carry. Death still has people that death fears. And there are people who have walked through the valley of the shadow of death. In this series of Untold Story, we will be looking at the cheated death. And today, I have in the studio a phenomenal young man of 92 years plus. And it's just a joy to have in the studio today someone that has inspired generations. And we have the privilege to share his story. I call him a man of 9 lives. You will soon know why he is a man of 9 lives. And it's such a joy. So without further ado, if you are joining us for the first time, you are a repeat or listener in the Untold story. You know what to do. Please remember to subscribe if you have not subscribed. Hit that like button and the bell so that every time we go live, you can be a part of it. This is not a story that we can say in 1 hour, probably not even in 10 hours. So this is going to be a series. Today is going to be part 1, there will be part 2 and part 3 because our guests cannot say it all in just 1 hour. So without further ado, I'd like to bring to the microphone no other person but Pa Olaseni. Is it Olaseni? Olaseni Oduyoye. Man who I lived for many years, a man of many lives, graced by God, served by mercy, and sustained by grace. That is good to have you in the studio. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you, Deolu.
Yes, sir.
Or Papa D, as they call you.
No, Deolu is fine. All right, sir. So we usually start with let's meet our guests. So I mean, it's you are obviously the very in quote in this studio, and it's such a joy to have you here today. So let's just in 5 minutes, if you had to say something about you in 5 minutes, like an abridged kind of autobiography, what are you going to say? What will you? How would you want the guests? I mean, the listening audience to meet you, sir?
Well, thank you very much. I was born, so I was told, to the family of Oduyoye on father's side and my mom on Kukoyi family of Oduegbo in the Jabode.
Oh, Jabode.
I don't know the time, but I know the date and the year. 29th of June, 1933.
Wow.
I think I was conceived in Kano because I was told my mother had to come home either to ensure care. I was born in Jabode General Hospital, and after some months, I was taken back to Kano. And funny enough, later in years, I had to go and work in Kano.
That explains why you can speak considerably in Hausa language.
Yeah. My early education was in Ibadan, Kudeti Kindergarten Girls, Kudeti Kindergarten School for underage children.
Okay.
Kudeti CMS Kindergarten School for boys and girls. At first in Ibadan. My father being a surveyor, land surveyor, wherever he went, we followed.
Follow him.
So, 1933, maybe by 1935, we were in Lagos. By 1938, I remember going to school, Baptist Academy.
Are these schools still there?
Obalende. The school is still very much there.
Oh.
Near, almost adjacent to, there's a police headquarters, and then there's a story building, and next is a Baptist school. Baptist Day Primary School. And from there we went to Jos. At Jos, we were in St. Luke's Primary School for 1 year. From Jos, we came to, I think we went to Agbabu. From Agbabu, we went to Ondo. So I was in school. I remember going to school in Ondo, St. Stephen's Okealuko in Ondo. And from Ondo, if I remember very well, we went to Jos, St. Louis School, Jos. And from Jos, transfer brought Ibadan, St. James's School, Okebola,
In Ibadan.
Ibadan. And from St. James's School, we went to Boys School, Primary School. The proprietor is we were drafted from Anglican Primary School to Boys School, Primary Section. And in 1944, they died, so we went to Ijebode for funeral. And for funeral, dancing, funeral ceremony takes place, lasts for a week. Dancing, eating. Mommy was saying, time for the children to go back to school. Children, whether they want to go back to Ibadan or they rather stay and continue in school. As at that time, Daddy has retired from service, was working for himself. So it was between Ijebode and Ibadan and traveling around. So because of the absence from school and because of the playfulness, playing, music, eating without responsibility, we opted to stay in school, to stay in Ijebode. So we had to go to St. Saviour's School, Ijebode, for 1 year. And back to Ibadan for another year. For one reason or the other, I was a slow starter, not very brilliant, not so brilliant as my younger brother. He had gone through, passed the secondary school exam. I had to continue in the primary school. I had to end up going to teach as a village teacher. At first, my mother took me to go and learn motor mechanic. I was smallish, so I had to go and teach. And I taught, I was teacher in a number of villages in Ibadan before entering a teacher training college. That was the beginning of my career. I was in teacher training college for 2 years as a part of those who are being prepared for the free primary education of the Old West, free education in the Old West. So there was need for mass production of teachers. So I was made headmaster straight from college in a village at first, a village called Bale Asun. No, Dagbolu. From Dagbolu to Akoran, not Akoran, from Dagbolu to Oyedeji, from Oyedeji to Ogunbode. It was from Ogunbode that I went back for teacher training again, second leg of our elementary teacher training college. So I was in a regional teacher training college where I met my wife.
Really?
Late. And during the regional teacher training college, I was posted straight to Ibadan, St. Peter's Primary School, Aremo. Where I was teacher and assistant to the General Odule, later Major General Odule. He was headmaster. From that school, I was reading for GC, O-level, A-level, private student, tried University Ibadan, tried ABU, tried, I also tried Unsuka. I would have been one of the first set of Unsuka. I decided to get out of the country to go and study hotel and catering in the UK.
Wow.
I was there
Which
married.
year was that?
I was there married. 1962, I think it is. 62 to be precise. I left for the UK in 62 and for full-time studies at the Blackpool College of Arts and Science. And I returned to the country in 1966 at the dawn of the civil.
The Civil War.
Well, I wouldn't say civil war. I would say civil commotion, military regime. I think first military regime,
Okay.
and the war had not broken out. From there, I was employed from Nigeria hotels. Because of the commotion, all the southerners, all the Igbos in the north coming down south for safety, it was obligatory to go north. So I found myself back in Kano. You remember I said earlier on that I must have been conceived in Kano, and I found myself early childhood back in Kano, and this time in Kano. So I was in Kano on and off, Kano, Lagos, Maiduguri. Eventually, I opened a Shell Hotel Maiduguri, and that was 71. I was in Maiduguri 71, 73, and transferred to Lagos to take over as manager at Koyo Hotel. There I was till 1977, when I went to UK for a year study in preparation to take over the training system of the company, Nigeria Hotels Limited. So there I was until age 52, 1985, if I remember very well, when I voluntarily retired, and I've been on my own since then.
You retired at 52.
Age 52, I
my
voluntarily retired.
So I have 1 year to retirement. 52. Wow. All right. I know that. One as you were reeling out schools, dates, places, I was like, I'm 51. I can't. If someone tells me to recall from my nursery school place specific dates, I probably will jumble them. I cannot even. Yeah, I will remember some. I can't remember all. And at 92, you are able to pull out dates. You are able to pull out the locations. And there are quite a number of them. And some of the names are very awkward. So that's why I'm wondering whether these places still exist. That's really amazing. So, but we'll get to some of the skill set that makes this. But at this particular podcast or interview is centered around death experience. The fact that, at 92, we know that you have seen life. You have seen different shades of life, to the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I have witnessed some of these experiences, a few of them. So, but you told me behind the scenes that you probably can capture like 13 death experience. So, and I think that's why I say that you are someone of a man of 9 lives. So let's start with your earliest encounter with near-death experience. What happened? What exactly was the event around it, and how did you come out of each of these experiences? Let's start with the earliest one you can remember.
I wonder whether it is best to start with earlier one,
or the most recent one,
or the most recent and work backwards.
Fine, whichever one is you are comfortable with. Exactly.
Well, if I was to take, let's take the most recent.
The most recent, all right.
The most recent, wife's cousin, son, invited mommy and I call her mommy.
Yeah.
At a very early stage, we call ourselves by name. Buki. She calls me Sheni, I call her Buki. But later in years, I call her mommy.
Yeah.
So mommy and I were invited to Ibadan for a break away from Lagos. And today, the young man's late cousin-in-law's son said he would send his driver. So I said, instead of sending his driver, we should get a Uber car to take us to Ojota and pay for the seats and and go. My wife insisted that the car should come, so I
pick it.
said, why should the car come empty? In this Nigerian economy, we take two of us, so we decided to. So mommy gave in, and we found ourselves in Ojota Motor Park,
Going to
going to Ibadan
Ibadan.
for a
Alright,
break,
a
for
break.
2 weeks break or 1 week break, away from it all in Lagos. This
Which
was
year was this? And how old were you at this time?
precisely, I think, which year was it? I might have been 85, and she being 1 year older than I am, maybe 86.
Mm.
I think I was 85 because it will be about 5 years ago.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
I think if I'm 90, maybe about 6 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's the most recent near-death experience. So we paid for all the seats and in no time. And as mommy was sitting in front for leg space, I was sitting at the back. Unfortunately, I did not remember to put my safety belt on. I was on the telephone sending messages, ping, ping, ping. And all of a sudden, I was hearing the driver saying, Kiloshe Drabai, Kiloshe Drabai. And mommy was saying, Jesus, 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 Jesus. I was just typing, pinging, pinging, pinging. All of a sudden, I just heard bang. The noise was so deafening, I couldn't imagine what it was. I thought it was a car bomb. I've only heard of car bomb. I've never experienced before a car bomb, but it was like a car bomb. To cut a long story short, a tipper, empty or loaded, was directly opposite us,
Wow.
driving the wrong way. We were on the right way, and this could have crushed us, just knocked us off the road. And the next thing I realized, we were off the road in a kind of puddle of water, or pool of water. There was an accident. And of course, did the man stop? Okada people came. The car was on 4 wheels. All the doors except the first door were jammed. Mommy wanted to come out, couldn't come out. I hit my jaw on the headrest of the front seat, or I don't know what happened. It was like my facial structure was deformed. And as at that time, people had to get mommy out. They wanted to open the door. The door won't open. My side door, all doors were locked except the driver's door. So I clambered out through the driver's door because the driver had come out, and I went and I opened the door and assisted in getting mommy out. So they lay mommy on the floor. So I got there and got her to rest. I was standing to rest on my legs standing. She looked up and said I was bleeding in the ears. The big sound of the impact, the jam, must have caused my eardrum to break, and I was bleeding. Not only that, a number of teeth was pulling out. I was just putting them in my pocket. I remember pulling out about 1, 2, 3, 4 dents. So eventually,
Wow.
after a long while, a road safety ambulance came and took us to the nearest place, a hospital, intersection of Abeokuta Shagamu intersection hospital. where we were giving immediate attention, the driver, myself, and mommy. And at night, we were injected. We said people in Ibadan waiting for us did not hear from us. We should have arrived in Ibadan. We are not in Ibadan. People in Lagos, people in Shagamu had no news of us. So we were taken care of. I could not sleep. Mommy slept, the driver slept. Mommy and I were in the same room. I was checking on her. I was on night duty with the nursing staff and even the director of the hospital. I've forgotten his name. I had to ask him why he did not wonder, whether he's not wondering why I did not sleep.
Because you were giving...
He said he was wondering too, because I was giving all the anesthetics, injection that should make one relax and make one sleep, to forget what had happened. I did not sleep until I recounted the number of times I've escaped death. This was this was the climax of it, I think. And I wanted to write it down so that it can be fresh, it can be indelible in my memory. But I couldn't find paper, I couldn't find biro. I eventually found biro in my pocket, and I found a checkbook, blank checkbook. So I started recounting.
How many times you had escaped death?
I think I stopped at number 13.
13.
Which is
that could not even be... that happened 6 years ago. That could not even be the most recent, because the other near death is after then. So, but that at that point you could count 13. That means they're now more than 13.
So,
because the other ones that have happened since that time.
Well, the one you may remember, the one following that one, play after my... I am on my 5th retirement now.
You have retired 5 times.
Oh yeah, I always tell people who say they retire that there's 5 levels of retirement.
Yes.
I am on the 5th level. If I can quickly run through it,
Yes, sir.
the first level of retirement is voluntary.
Voluntary.
The second level is compulsory.
Compulsory.
If you're in the police, like the recent IG,
Yes.
you will have put, or soldier, if you have put in 35 years, it is compulsory that you go and rest, whether you are 60 or you are not 60 or 65. People who continue to work are professors and judges. They work up to 70. But if you are working in public service, also clerical people, bishops and so on, I think they go up to 70. So that's the second level, compulsory retirement.
Yeah.
If you retire, if you are still very healthy and strong, like I was, you go and get another job. It may not be given as the first employment or the second employment, but it will give you something. You still go on, and you can go on to the 4th. The 4th level, you may not even earn any income. You may be working free, just to keep active. If you are a teacher, you may volunteer to go and teach in a school near you, where you don't have to be waking up early in the morning to go to school. If you are good in English or good in mathematics, you can extra hour, or even if you don't have anything to do with community, and give them grinding, preparing them for passing exams and so on. So that's the 4th retirement. You can be active in the voluntary organization, youth organization, Boy Scout, Red Cross, Boys Brigade, and what have you. And so many youth organizations like that. And free service. And then, like I said earlier on, I'm on the 5th retirement.
Which is now.
I'm still very active with the Scout movement.
Yes.
I'm still very active with the church.
Rotary,
of course, very active.
Resident Association,
Community activity, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Now, talking about second near-death experience, within this
So after this, we'll go on a break. We'll take a breather and then we'll come back to continue.
within this F close,
Yeah.
I remember after retiring on the 4th level at age 85, which would be over 6 or 7 years ago, I was still fit to do gardening, to empty my room and do spring cleaning. And
ride bicycles.
And ride bicycle, ride bicycle every morning, and ride bicycle, not just ride bicycle fiercely, as if I was in sports competition around the close. I used to ride out of this close to Fifth Avenue, to 2nd Avenue, turn left to 23 Road, from 23 Road.
At 86, yeah.
Ride the bicycle through Fifth Avenue and back home. If I ride bicycle, if I do it on bicycle, 15 minutes, I'm done. If I do it on foot, 45 minutes, I'm done. Or half an hour, I'm done. Every morning to keep fit. I just noticed that I was eating and I was losing weight. I did not know what I was suffering from. And to cut a long story short, I was wondering whether I had cancer or whether I was suffering from consumption. I was losing. Long story short, I was lifeless, almost lifeless on the bed. I've been seeing the doctor. We used to use Holy Family clinic or hospital. But recently we have a doctor next door, a clinic next door. And I've been seeing the doctor to complain about tiredness and weakness and so on. He's been giving me maybe multivites and so on to boost my energy. But I found myself carried out of bed, almost lifeless, and I was hearing everything that was being said. Before then, I was sad that I was going to leave my wife because it was like death was at hand.
That was the season where you were calling all the children, everybody, and blessing
Exactly.
them, giving them valedictory.
Exactly. I said, wife, how is she going to manage? So reluctantly, I went to her and I said, Buki, well, it looks like it is time to go. Take care of yourself. To come and give me last sacrament.
The Holy Communion.
All the time, Mommy did not talk. She was just silent. And when she really spoke, she said I should call the vicar myself. And of course, I went for the phone and called the vicar. The vicar, Lulu, I know. The Reverend, I call him Reverend, not the vicar. Reverend in charge of midday prayers. Came upstairs, found both of us, and wondering what could be wrong. He put his hand on his chest, afraid. I said, Reverend, I know, I'm not committing suicide, but just in case. Just in case, I just feel like time is up. That's the way I felt, because you feel, and when he administered the sacrament, and after he left, he gave Mommy, he gave my brother. I told my brother to take care of himself. And I started calling my son here in Lagos. I called my daughter. I called grandson. I called nephews. I called all the people. I wanted to call the president of Rotary Club, the current president, the immediate I think the immediate, the current president. I couldn't get him. So I wanted to call the current president, President 61 of the Rotary Club, but I couldn't get him. So I called the immediate past. Dari Adeyeri.
Yeah.
And I said, I was giving, it was like saying farewell. Take care of the club, do the right thing, do this, like giving farewell, parting instructions. And he said, who is with me? I said, Mommy is here. I said, my brother is here. And I said, and he said, no, I should give him the phone. So he said he's rejecting the devil. So I think he was I don't know whether it's the last sacrament or they don't call it last sacrament anymore. They call it resurrection sacrament. So Maululu said, I was eventually carried to the hospital and I was being taken care of. My daughter had to fly in. They were waking up in the night too. You can remember the time zone.
Yeah.
I remember second grandson was afraid, and I was also doing it video, so that I can see them. And he was afraid, seeing grandpa saying, "Take care of yourself. Make sure you study very well." Blah blah blah. So my daughter got onto the plane to come over. I was told in the hospital that Tola was at the airport. So I said, what shall I tell Tola when she comes? I will tell her that she has not come for my funeral, she has come for my resurrection. So they took me to, after all the medication, I was still feeling somehow. So they took me to go and do a test across the bridge. I've never been put, I don't remember any time in my life that I was ever in an ambulance. I was only in an ambulance once as escort to my wife when she had a mild stroke in UK. I was with her in the ambulance with an old man and a lady driver driving the ambulance to the next hospital. I was put in an ambulance. We drove out of the close, across the bridge to a laboratory around Apple Junction. And they did test, drink water, enter into a coffin like casket or something. MRI test. They closed and baga. We went back. As I was going in the ambulance, honestly, it was like I was going out of the clothes for the last time.
Wow.
That I won't come back. But we came back. I was in my hospital room. Now, I wanted to know what they found in the
MRI.
Yes. They said they found nothing. I said, what do you mean they found nothing? I queried the doctor. The doctor said they found nothing. I said, they must find something. Otherwise, why could I be sick? How could I be mental illness, or is it consumption? Is it cancer? Eventually, he said they found a metal in my liver. I said, a metal in my liver? I was going to write written about it. A metal in my liver? How did a metal get into my liver? Another near-death experience.
Well, you were shot.
I suddenly remembered that I had a gunshot in Warri. If anybody is from Warri, don't think Warri people are armed robbers and so on. It was purely an accident. We had to go and do a consultancy training. You remember I said earlier on that I retired at the age of 52. And I had to start hustling around, doing training and doing all sorts of consultancy. And I specified to our client which hotel I preferred to stay in. because I could get discount, hoteliers discount anywhere in the world.
Sorry, Daddy, let me give you a pause so that we can go on a break. We can take a breather. You're coming back to that worry experience where with gunshot.
Okay.
Like I told you, we have 13 near-death experience, and we're going to allow you roll spontaneously without no particular order.
I may not get through the 13. I may get through 6, 7.
No problem. We'll just keep flowing. So you are still on talking to Pa Olaseni Oduyoye, a man of many expressions, leadership in many ways, an inspiration in the society, a life poured out, a man that is available, always ready to help. And this is his 92nd year on the planet with many near-death experience. I said death, seen him many times, and death has given a salute that you are free. Go anytime you want. So before he goes on a bullet wound, probably still lodged in his body, we want to go on a break, take a breather so that he can take a cup of water, and we'll be right back. Please stay with us. All right, you can take a... All right, welcome back. Still Untold Story, and we are on the series They Cheated Death. We are here in the studio with Pa Olaseni Oduyoye, and just before going on the break, he was probably on the third or fourth near-death experience. Then worry how during an MRI scan at another episode of a near-death experience, he was told that he had a metal in his liver. How did he get there? Now he remembered that there was an incident when he was in worry. So that was what we were on before the break. So Daddy is just going to continue from there. Daddy, you have the floor, have the microphone. Let's go back to the hotel.
We had a contract to train the food and beverage service staff of an oil catering company, catering for Shell in Warri, Focados, and other outlets, Egbema, onshore, all of them are onshore drills, except that of Focados. Anyway, to cut a long story, he did the training perfectly. To cut down the cost, resource persons came and stayed only one night so that they could lecture the day of arrival and the day of departure and go. So on the last day, we were left with three of us, the three principal, myself as the chief consultant, training consultant, Mr. Adekester, and my son, Bolaji Oduyoye. He just arrived from France, and we also co-opted him to join us in the training. On the last day, our client must have gone to the bank to draw money to pay us because Mr. Kester wanted to travel. He wanted to travel very early by air because he had to go to UK. So we were only three left. Bolaji was sharing a room with another resource person who is a young man like him, now late, Osita Ike. So when Osita Ike left, I told Balaji he has the choice of staying in the room, there are 2 beds there, or moving to my own room. Thank God he opted to move to my room. At night, we left the light on. We were tired. We were waiting to park and travel within a day or 2. The light was on, and I was hearing ole movement. So I got up. I stopped wearing wristwatch by nature, by the intensity of the daylight or by the birds twittering, chirp-chapping. So I went straight for the curtain to draw the curtain to see how much daylight there is, to guess the time. When I heard a gunshot, and I was hearing ole, so I quickly dropped the curtain, and the gunshot woke up Bolaji. And Bolaji said, "What's that?" I said, "Gunshot. Thieves are around." So the light was still on, and I went back to bed. I noticed blood was oozing out of my rib here, of my left chest, right here. So I said to Bolaji, "I think I've been shot." Bolaji didn't understand. So Bolaji now gave instruction, first aid. I should hold on to it. I not only held on to it, I also put a pillow, I put a pillow and used a pillow to pad it like that, and I was like that throughout the night. Throughout the later moments, lying on the bed. So we had a knock at the door. I said, "Don't open that door." Balaji, waking up from his sleep, opened the door, and the bandits, the robbers, came in. "Where's the money? Where's the money?" To cut a long story short, they robbed us and they left. Mr. Kester, who wanted to travel, I think he has got the money, or maybe he hasn't got the money. They raided the guest house, and they attacked us. So when the neighbors were wanting to come to intervene, so I heard them say the robbers are still inside. So I jumped. Not robbers. We are not robbers. We are the victims. We are the people who are attacked. So I now wanted to go and look for the security man, whose name was John. That if I find John, I will know that he has escaped, or if I don't find him. But I found John. John was in a pool of blood, saying, "I go die, oh, I don't die, oh, I go die, oh, I don't." So I said, John. I raised alarm that John is in a pool of blood. I still wanted to get a car to get John into the car and head for the hospital. They said I couldn't drive. So I said, I can drive. By the time we got to another car got John. I was the last to get to the hospital. And the first person I asked for was John. They said, John has died. So if John has died, I, who is nursing a gunshot, am also dead. At the hospital, they asked me to release this hand. I told them I was shot. They couldn't see any evidence that I was shot, except that they saw me holding my upper arm firmly to my left side rib. They said I should open. After much reluctance, I released, and they couldn't even find any sign that I was shot. So they just had to treat it. No, they wanted to operate. I said no, they should not operate because the state of the hospital, the emergency mattress was like the colonial masters left there. And I didn't. Our client had already arranged helicopter aeroplane flight to take us back to Lagos. Anyway, I went back to the hotel to find out how I could be shot and blood was coming out and I was still wanting to drive and I was still talking and gesticulating. When I got to the room where I pulled the curtain, burglar proof, the bullet hit the glass, hit the intersection where one bar crossed the other. So that detonated the force of the bullet.
Wow.
Tore the curtain before hitting me here.
Wow.
And to cut a long story short, by the time we got to Lagos and we did X-ray, the third rib was broken. If not for that intersection, the bullet would have penetrated and come out through here. I would have bled to death. So that was the third or was it the fourth near-death experience.
Wow, sir. So there's still going to be part 2 of this. We are just fourth. We still have a lot more that Daddy within 1 hour cannot share. I can tell you, we still have the COVID attack experience. That's another story for another day. We still have medical diagnosis and prognosis of doctors on his life, on his health, even up to current. Is someone that should not be living by all medical standards. His fight against, all manner of pronouncement and ailment. To say, this one is with old age and all of that. With his sight, he still does everything. Not everything does. He will leave. He'll still go to church. He's going to be telling us in subsequent interviews some of these experiences, encounters, and how the mercies of God and sheer confidence in God and the mercies of God has preserved his life up to this time. He is 92 plus and he's still very much active in elders meeting. He's still visionary about transforming the community, attending FTL meetings, Boy Scout meetings. He's doing Rotary meetings. He's still very, very much active. I mean, what some of us who are full-sighted cannot do, he's still doing it, and all of that. So we want to really appreciate. And I thought that, at this point in your life, I mean, you are in the future. I don't know that there's a sixth retirement, but this is most likely the final retirement. At this age, you should just be telling us, inspirational stories, just like in African folk tales. The elders gather around and they tell stories. You should be telling stories. You should be praying. You should be blessing the next generation and passing on the grace to the next generation. So Daddy Oduyoye, we are so glad to share in your story. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for inspiring the next generation. He was married for over 60 years plus, and, some of us were not got married. And we can still see that he can do everything that he wants to do. That is a life being spent well, and we thought that we should give him all the time and all the time it takes to tell his story to the next generation. So we're going to come back again. We don't know whether it's going to be next week Friday or next week Wednesday, but keep your eyes glued to this particular channel. That Oduyoye is coming again and again to tell his stories. There's still another one of how he stood, his boldness and confidence in Mile 2 under the bridge there, where he come from. The mattress was chasing him up and down at his age. So there's so many things.
I forgot about
that one. So I'll remind you all of the ones that you have told me. I'll remind you. All right. So I want to thank every one of you for being a part of this conversation today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If this story resonates with you, click that subscribe button, click the notification so that you can always know when we go live. I want to thank the Digits 1024 team, the best team in the world for live streaming, yes, and the team that always go the extra mile. If you are not using Digits 1024 for your live stream, I wonder what you are using. You know, if you are looking for live sound at its best, you are looking for sound that does not disappoint, where you are not putting your hand on your head and say, what happened? It's Digits, is the group and is the company to go by, and we're going places. Digits is a good work. God started it and God will perfect it. It will come your way again next week, Friday. It is a solid goodbye. Have a good weekend and see you again next week for another inspiring story. Bye-bye and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
I walk through the valley where the silence waits, where the door was closing